We are Studio D3R. It's my sister Denica Horlenda and me. I'm Radustina Radulova-Stama, and obviously we're a young office. We do architecture and also urbanism. We work in different scales, like this smaller scale in temporary projects, but also we do the other side of the spectrum in scale, so we do also focus on urbanism. And how we approach the projects in general is that we work a lot with the site itself. We try to involve all kind of specificity and distill the main spatial principles out of the site and include it into the project. So the site-specific ideas combined with systemic thinking makes the quality of our work.
Welcome to the Green Gallery. It's an installation that represents an architectural landscape that is capable of doing or showing the relation of the man-made as well as the natural environment. We have an almost graphical, wide and thin structure that speaks in a close and dense dialectic with the wild and vivid and ambiguous vegetation layer. So by this, a synergy of both elements is created. And on the one hand, as a counterpart to the massive volumes of the MAXXI in this heavy concrete, the structure creates a really lightness, a fine light structure that makes it almost immaterial. And by adding, on the other hand, the layer of the vegetation, which is wild and vivid and finds its own way, the humans moving through the installation create their own paths, and by this mimic the dynamic and the fluid lines of the MAXXI. So it's nice to see this combination of having a counterpart and having a player. So it's a nice play or dance with the MAXXI itself.
We deeply believe that also architects and urbanists, actually the whole discipline, should take care of environmental matters, and that's why the starting point of this project was the topic of biodiversity, as air pollution and climate change and sealing of ground is increasing in the cities, and the different fauna and flora species are decreasing. We decided to contribute to biodiversity in Rome and add an extra stepping stone in front of the MAXXI. So in the general context, we have these bigger green areas in the west and the east of MAXXI, and there are already a couple of green islands, so to say, in between, but exactly in this area around the MAXXI, it's quite sealed. As you see, the surrounding is super dense, and what we wanted to do is add another small stepping stone so that species can jump from one to the other, and so create an overall corridor, green corridor, in order to transpass the city. There are different species, for example the butterflies. They have a really small radius of moving, so they can just move around 1 to 2 kilometers. So if they don't have this kind of stepping stones, they just stay in this area and can't multiply themselves. So this is the overall idea or contribution of the project that we imagined. The Green Gallery as a super quiet, dense, and also a bit a bit hidden place where you can just stroll around, lose yourself, forget the phone, and yeah, distract yourself from everyday life. So it's a place where you can just lay back and lose also your thoughts. Maybe close your eyes and activate all your senses, feel the plants, how they caress you, look at the sun rays, how they became visible, and the water drizzles.
And feel the different atmosphere, right? Because on the one hand you have like the more stiff plants, then you have the banana, it's quite soft, then you have some species with little spikes, so it's every time to discover a new situation. And it's also about creating some density because of the different species, or on the other hand create open corridors so that you have no guidelines to choose, but you can just go along.
My name is Marcello Fantuz. Studio di Dry Art has involved me in the design and realization of the Green Gallery. This that we can call urban forest brings the landscape back into the discourse over the contemporary city. The role of landscape, in fact, is central in mitigating urban climate, and you know, it's an essential feature for the city of the future.